You are listening to the Gamer Librarian Podcast, the best podcast you can find on this side of the multiverse. I am your host, Adrian, and today we wait for Path of Exile 2 to drop onto its early access period. We have about 3 to 6 months of actual play for the first few chapters with the first 6 classes that are out, which is pretty awesome. I haven't been this excited for an early launch access game in a very long time. So I've been trying to decide what class I want, and I'm thinking of doing the monk so far. I'm gonna maybe check out the other classes once they're available on screen, but so far I'm definitely leaning towards monk. And you know, $30 for the early access, that's what I paid for this. That's pretty awesome. A low bar considering what you get in the long term, right? You get maybe like half the game right now, and then you could play like the full game basically for free. The game is free to play when it launches later next year. Hopefully, maybe it doesn't, but for now, Path of Exile 1 is still out. That is free to play, and all your progress and everything that you unlock in terms of I think cosmetics and stuff, that all transfers into these second games. That's pretty awesome. And I would still like to maybe go back and play some Diablo 4 and try out its new expansion, but the horizon that is with Path of Exile 2, that's just far more interesting. I mean, the gameplay that it seems that it's in the game is far more interesting than Diablo 4, right? I was actually very disappointed by the bosses and a few of the fights and just some of the later end game stuff of Diablo 4 for the most part of what I played. I averaged about maybe 100 hours on my total characters in that game, and I think I have a pretty good idea of the overall gameplay loop of Diablo 4. And I'm just looking for a little something else, a little something more challenging. And I think Path of Exile 2 is what's going to deliver on that. I never got to play the first game to a really long progression, right? After Diablo 4, I was, pretty into those kind of games, and I was trying to find them, and I saw that like Zach Asmongold was playing Path of Exile 1 and talking about it. And so I tried it out. I played The Witch for a bit, maybe about 20 or 30 hours. I don't even think I finished the campaign initially, but I played for a bit, but I'm obviously hyped for Path of Exile 2. This seems like it's going to be the game. So until it drops onto Steam, right, we can check right now. I'm just going to quickly launch it up again. I think maybe it's like 2 o'clock my time, EST, like 11 PT or something like that. I'm really unsure, but hoping to drop soon so I can just start downloading it and playing it even while I'm working. I'll do that. But in the meantime, obviously, there's a whole bunch of stuff that came out this week and was announced and all kinds of news. So, unfortunately, Andy Paley, the guy, the producer who did the SpongeBob original score, I believe, he passed away. That's very tragic. That's very upsetting. So that's a very bit of sad news, which I'm pretty upset about. It's definitely a shock to see, all kinds of things like that happen in the world. Um, to his family and friends and stuff, my condolences. Obviously, the SpongeBob anything is just so memorable. So that's just a little bit something that's maybe be the most downing thing for the week. But obviously, there's some other things that's pretty depressing. It's as a fellow podcaster for uh, anyone out there, I think I can talk about this. There is the Haley Welch meme coin situation. Haley Welch is the uh, let's say she's the person who coined the term Hawk Tuah, right? So she's the 22-year-old who, became a podcaster right after her meme became viral. And apparently she launched a meme coin that's been not so doing so well. People have called it like scams, something like that. I'm not really sure the ins and outs of all that, but as somebody who does podcasting, I'm just going to say that like I don't even know why you'd even bother. Like why even go so far? Apparently a podcast is like number 3 on the charts, and it's just like why would you even waste your time and effort on something like that and then obviously steal people's money on it? It's just so crazy. So yeah, people are doing that out there. Now I'll say I wouldn't put out anything that would be a scam or anything like that. That's just pretty disingenuous and pretty awful to do, especially take someone's money and not really offer anything back in terms of like I don't even get the whole Doge meme coins stuff. It's just so odd why people even bother. So yeah, there's people out there doing that on the internet. So go do whatever you want with your money. That's obviously your prerogative. You can do what you want if you're an adult. You know, I just checked again to see if Path of Exile is able to be launched or anything, and it's not. So we're just waiting, which is something. And what I did see was this game Anata. It looks like a GTA anime game. It looks pretty awesome, or kind of gives me the same kind of vibes as those other anime games, the like the Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail kind of games. I think. I don't really play those, but it does look very cool for the style of it. It's a very more modern kind of take, but it does seem cool. Those anime games are definitely very visually appealing. They're quite cool. Um, Also, Ubisoft, more hot water. Not only is like Assassin's Creed kind of not doing so well, it was removed from release this year. It's going to be pushed back to next year. So we're never going to see that game ever again. But apparently, their game X Defiant, which I know has been going on for quite a long time. I think that game was announced around 2012 or so. So it's almost about 10 plus years for that game. And that's like it's supposed to be like a Call of Duty killer, and it's like a first person game. It's like a shooter and stuff like that. But it's discontinuing its service in 2025, which is sad. It's only got a little bit over a year, right? If you account the rest of this month and then whatever it has left for 2025 and all of 2024. So, which is pretty sad considering that they're going to have to close down San Francisco and their Osaka studios, laying off supposedly maybe 100 so people, which is pretty awful. It's still getting its season three, which is something. I mean, maybe hopefully with season three coming out, the game might become a little different, but it's surprising that they would announce their closing and ending service and then still putting out like content, and then maybe that they have absolutely no hopes for season three like doing well. But even so, like them still putting it out, I guess is pretty good for, I know, the people who probably paid for like the season pass, or maybe it has like a battle pass or something like that. But yeah, as of right now, you can't even make new accounts on the game, which is, pretty upsetting. I would have preferred them to maybe like, I don't even know if it's free to play. I wouldn't even know, but that's pretty sad. I like Ubisoft, but they personally haven't put out a lot of games that super interested me. I think maybe the last game that was an Assassin's Creed by then that interested me was Watch Dogs 3. I don't necessarily remember, but yeah, it's pretty sad to see that they're laying off more people, and that the holiday season couldn't really be worse for some people than like losing your job, or prospectively losing your job. So that's very very upsetting. Um, on maybe a little lighter news, a new Orcs Must Die game is being announced, which is crazy. I haven't played that game since it was on like the Xbox 360. I think there's a sequel as well, but I was actually pretty excited to see that was coming back. 'Cause I like seeing older arcade games or titles just return in some way. It's supposed to be like a roguelike kind of game, and it even has like third person action to it, which is awesome. That's really cool. Um, also, the Indiana Jones game is out or coming out, and people are playing it, and IGN reviewed it pretty well. Now, I saw like the first 18 minutes of it being out, and the gameplay wasn't really like, you know, uh, impactful to me. It wasn't really getting me to go, oh, I'm gonna play this. But it definitely seemed like it was the pacing of like an Indiana Jones kind of style. I saw like the running of him like running through like a catacomb or like a ruined like tunnel kind of thing in the game, and I was just like, that running looks kind of not good, and it was just like, I don't really know how I feel about like how some of the characters look. Um, I don't know how, if I'm gonna play it ever. I think it's on Game Pass, right? So I'm not really sure, but I haven't been a big Indiana Jones fan. I mean, I don't really like the movies that much. I did like the Lego Indiana Jones game. That was solid, really, really good. We also have Marvel Rivals, which is pretty cool. Um, Overwatch was not necessarily the game for me when it first came out, the first game, especially with the loot boxes and stuff. And I never even touched the sequel. That game is fire, trash fire. So Marvel Rivals seems to be the kind of same kind of game like that, but there's so many other games where it's just like I don't really want to even bother trying a live service Marvel hero shooter. I'm much more of the Marvel single player side kind of dude. But I will say the characters do look cool. I know the Moon Knight character reveal trailer was pretty awesome when I saw that. Um, the Wolverine costume or like design looks uh, odd, at least. I don't know, but those proportions, it just seems weird. But I haven't seen like all the characters together in like a big picture. But who could say? But it's definitely not a game on my radar. Um, I think it's free to play. That's pretty cool. Awesome for them. Uh, I'm gonna try and check Path of Exile again. It's not. Who knows? Nope, not yet. hopefully by the end of the episode, maybe. Yeah, gaming news other than what I mentioned, and then Path of Exile. I don't really have anything else. So Metaphor has gotten really cool. We got this spear, we killed this dragon, and we got to the Alberry Heights. Now things are ramping up. I believe I'm towards the end of the game. It gave me a message saying the final battle, and I have about maybe 8 or 7 days left. I'm not really where I would like to be in the game. I don't have all the character, the social link stuff kind of progressed. You know, your friends. I'm missing. Um, I think more is a part of the story. But Alfred or Alfredo, Alonzo is one that I would really like to get him up, but I'm missing one, and I can't find him in terms of the days that they're bringing up. So hopefully, before the final battle, I'm going to be able to do that. And things are crazy. So the magic is gone. So now like everybody can kill each other now in terms of the contestants for the last like few people who are part of the king election thing. And now we have a full party. We have a berserker. I guess it's like the final class, right? We're still missing a few in terms of the trees, like the skill tree archetypes that you can get. So I'm still missing some of that, and I'm not really where I would like to be in terms of the game. We're just about level 50. I think I got 49, or about halfway through 49, and it's been pretty fun. Hopefully, gonna finish that game this week while we play Path of Exile. It's gonna be pretty easy. I'm just gonna try maybe use my feet or my mother hand or something and just use the controller because it's a turn-based game, so you don't have to make intuitive or quick like movements. It's very easy like that, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's really what I'm going to be doing. I would have liked to have been finished with it earlier before we even started December, and then Wukong as well. But here we are. Path of Exile, just I was surprised that I was able to get a chance to play the early access. I was just kind of just waiting around, and then I just went and bought the key through Steam, and then I was like, all right, I'll just play this game for however long I could stand it, and I'm hoping to get pretty far. I want to play this game indefinitely. Maybe in terms of online games, switch between this and Final Fantasy just whenever I'm not doing other kinds of stuff. But usually around this time, I like to play online games during the holidays, just get around and something relax, play something a little more sociable like that. And this game seems like it's gonna be that same kind of thing. So hopefully I'll be able to see you guys on Path of Exile 2 and even Final Fantasy throughout the holiday season. It's gonna be pretty fun. It's downloading. Oh, this is the best. All right, so as soon as this episode is over, I am playing Path of Exile 2. That is for sure. Um, I believe now that we can have that downloading, let's start and talk about our sponsor, Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like other energy drinks. We also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. If you use the coupon code down below, you can get 10% off your order on items like drinks, powders, apparel, portable bottles, stickers, and bags. Dubby is an energy drink powder that is produced in FDA registered and inspected facilities in the United States. If you've been following the podcast for a decent amount of time, you know that we don't get a chance to talk about normal Western comics, right? American, usually origin comics. At least in terms of me, I like superhero comics. They're my bread and butter. I think that the stories that they put out right now, they're usually okay. I think they're pretty like exciting, but reading them issue by issue is just really not my thing. And this year, I've been able to keep up with a new iteration of DC Comics called the Absolute series. And I've been enjoying all of them so far. They only have about 3 series so far: Absolute Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. We read the first Superman and then the first two Batman and Wonder Woman comics previously, and earlier this week they put out Superman number two. I've been trying to do my best to find like a release schedule. I believe you usually could. I don't have the initial comic, so I wouldn't know if they have it in like the physical pages. But I've been really enjoying them so far, and their like idea of maybe the social caste system of their worlds being different, but also like maybe different origins, right? Batman obviously he comes from the idea of being like a blue collar worker in this world and not like a billionaire. Superman's parents are like two different scientists in like a very scientific dominated world, and there's very it's like social issues with that. And then Wonder Woman, I don't really know a lot about like Themyscira or maybe how those worlds work in those comics, but it seems that her being raised in Hades or like hell, right, is pretty awesome. And for Superman came out, and this comic introduces Lois Lane a little bit more, and we see something awesome is they teased the villain a little bit for in the last issue, but it was Brainiac. But in this issue, they call him Algorithm Brainiac with a Brainiac algorithm. Oh, that's pretty dope. I kind of like that. I don't know if they ever call him that in the previous comics, but it's so far it seems pretty cool. And they have like the Peacemaker force. They come back. Superman is in like Venezuela, right? I guess these like like faux military forces in the comic are like hunting Superman for a while. And yeah, issue two's been pretty good. It's definitely been fun. I'm looking forward to see what comes out later on next year. I don't imagine we're gonna get any more issues for this comic series, but it's still in its infancy, so it's kind of hard to tell. And like with these origin story parts, they're kind of very similar. The only one that's been like very different, as far as I could say, is Batman's. But Superman has been very traditional so far, but we're getting a lot of back story towards the fall of Crypto or Krypton. Sorry, Crypto was actually in the comic of the second one, so I had him on the mind. Hopefully, we'll get absolute Crypto. That'd be really awesome. And then while searching for the list of the absolute Superman like release schedule and the other ones, I found that they're also putting out some other comics for 2024 and then onward. The first one here is Justice League Unlimited. Now, I was a big fan of the TV show series. I'm pretty sure they had Justice League Unlimited comics before, like maybe 2022 or 2020, maybe in the past when I wasn't looking. But I know that they have them now, and it's a Justice League comic for this year. So I'm gonna maybe try and put some time aside and do Justice League Unlimited 2024 to whenever this ends, because I like the cover, it looked cool, and I would like to maybe try out a new modern take on what is DC considering the Justice League Unlimited, at least in terms of the comic series. The TV show was so peak, true peak cinema. The other comic is Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns. Obviously, for Christmas, I would like to give that a shot. So that's probably going to be in the future. Don't know how many issues that's going to run for, but when I get a chance to read it, I'll definitely try and do that. That seems crazy. It might be fun for the holidays. Um, I also have this article here from IGN with like James Gunn being like, apparently James Gunn doing something with like the Creature Commandos, which is fine. I don't really know much about them, but he's talking about like, does canon even matter anymore? And hell no, canon never mattered. Like you're just taking source material anyway, right? Especially like we talk about movies for these people. I don't even think it's like all that, you know, important to be so truthful to the source material. Like if you just take someone else's idea and adding onto it, like we don't have George Lucas still doing the Star Wars movies. Disney wouldn't let him do that unless he didn't want to. I wouldn't even know. If I was George Lucas, I would just want to continue making them and get paid by Disney. Like why wouldn't they do that? So who knows? That's just very uh speculative, I guess, to maybe incite reasons why people would do things or not. But I don't think canon affects that. And whatever canon is for Star Wars now, it's up in the air. But to me, Star Wars canon has always been I get to pick and choose because ever since even Disney before Disney bought them, they had like a few of the other like book series that weren't even like I guess considered canon. But I don't really care. Republic Commando written by Karen Travis. We've had her on the podcast. Awesome series. That's canon to me. I don't give two shits. Republic Commando is canon to me. That's 100% true. And I couldn't care. Now, the DC movies and then like Marvel movies, superhero movies with canon, in terms of like those storylines, I guess they don't really matter anymore. Like obviously Marvel's kind of delved into the what if stuff, but they're more centralized. DC is like they're meta with it because they go into like the directors of each one's like iteration. Like we saw the Nicolas Cage Superman in The Flash, right? And then even The Flash is like kind of just a different kind of Flash from what we've seen in the other. It's very different. So I don't really care. Canon is whatever you want to make it with these characters, unless like the original creator, the person who like penned the original storyline and whatever says something else. It doesn't really matter. There is like that Harry Potter stuff that's being tossed around with like that Harry Potter TV show. I know. Now I don't really care about Harry Potter canon. I always felt like Harry Potter could always be more fleshed out in terms of everything, even the books. Like I feel like this could be, actually like a little more delved into. So I don't really care. The Hogwarts game was really great. I think they added a lot of really cool, interesting stuff to the overall aspect of Hogwarts. I would prefer an MMO over a new video game or even a TV show. But overall, I'm still pretty excited for whatever else media has to offer. I still think it's pretty fun to have these things, even if they're like have some slight variations or changes or not the same creators as before, right? Even Dragon Age doesn't have the same uh, creators as it did in Origins way back in like 2006 or 7, right? Up at Path of Exile is ready. God is a girl and C is good. Yeah, so Path of Exile came out, and we have to get this episode wrapped up. So, what else did I do? Hunter x Hunter, we caught up on that. Yo, 409 chapters. I think tomorrow is when the 10th chapter comes out for the manga series, and it's been so fun. I mean, I'm so enthralled. The current arc, I'm not a big fan of, whether like they're currently on the big ship, they're going to the Dark Continent, and we're following Kurapika. And so far I'm not a big fan of like this king succession kind of fight. It's not really my thing. Now, let me tell you, the spider troop, the phantom troop has been I their lore is getting deep. I'm loving it. I'm all here for it. I did also get a chance to watch the movies because I just wanted, a chance to relax. I didn't really feel like playing games at the time. But I wanted to just, watch an anime movie, see what the dub was like for these movies, and I love them. They were really good, even if they're not considered canon or whatever. I still think they're actually really fun. Now, the Phantom Ruse, I wasn't a big fan of the fights. I kind of felt like for that era of Gon and Killua, you know, maybe the fights could have been a little more flashy in the fight, but they didn't really have a lot of sauce in terms of that entire movie. That's probably my biggest gripe about it. Definitely a lot more happened with the last mission, obviously. Overall, I still think they're really fun, exciting romps. I don't think there's any more movies for Hunter x Hunter, so that's actually pretty upsetting. Maybe before they do an anime uh, continuation of whatever they're currently doing and they make a new movie and then do the anime and then have a good schedule with that. Because I think I like when animes have movies. It's definitely fun to have those kind of side things, even if they're not considered canon or not. Like I said, nothing's canon. Um, Continuing, Zatch Bell has been a show that I've been watching for quite a while, um, as a kid, right? But I never really like maybe watched all the episodes in order or stuff like that because I only really watched it, I think, right as I was coming home from school, right? So right now I've been reading the manga and we're in the Frodo arc. It's like the big giant tower guy, which is crazy. This is chapter 252. So Takamine, he just like woke up, right? He's woke up from like his big healing chamber pod, so now he can go fight Frieza or the Dark Zatch his like brother, right? And I definitely remember this fight. I definitely remember this fight happening. It's just I don't remember how maybe it particularly ends. I don't even know if they kill Zatch's brother, but I remember a lot of the Fredo stuff because maybe it's probably what was only like put on more so in terms of like its broadcast time. But the Barry fight where he gets acknowledgement by being like he would be a good king as someone who's like a king. That was awesome, right? That was so sick. And the Wanrei lay-in fight. Oh, man, I remember that vividly. As soon as the outline of the doors, like it just flooded back to me, coming back to that scene. These last later few fights in the Frodo arc are the absolute some of the best in the series. They've been so great. Um, so also One Piece comes out in 2 days, and then we have Wild Strawberry, I think, in 1 week or so. And I'm deciding on what manga to read next. Once that spell is done, I'd like to try and catch up with some other stuff. I know Jujutsu Kaisen season 3 is coming out, so maybe I'll hold off on reading that. But we were watching Dandadan. We did do season 1, right? I'm in love with this. The Serper aliens are so weird and crazy. They're amazing. time attack. I think that's so funny and goofy. We actually did just watch episode 10 that came out, I think earlier this week. So it's been pretty fun. Um, Once maybe the anime is over, I'll do the manga because I actually really want to see where this goes. I was not expecting to have fights in this at all. Like I thought it was going to be like a little more silly, goofy, and not like, oh, this is like serious. We have like the actual aliens and actual like demons. I was not expecting that to be like that. And it's pretty long. The manga has I think maybe 120 chapters or so, and that's the pretty good track record for a show having a good amount. I don't even know where the anime compares to the amount of chapters, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, so also in the future, um, I did try to watch the first episode. We're a little bit through, but we watched the John Madden NFL uh, Amazon show. It's in the game. So this chronicles the origins of EA, the beginning of that company, and the growth that it got through its sports games, the Madden series specifically by bringing John Madden into the game production, right? So I was never really a big sports kid, right? Sports was never really my thing. I played sports games and I played sports like in school when you were forced to in gym, right? So, um, but I love documentaries about like video games, of course, but obviously sports. I really like sports documentaries. And this first episode, the Can Computers Make You Cry, was pretty funny. It talks about like how when the first Madden game releases, they had to like lay off some of their staff. Right, they went through like 3 out of 4 producers for that first game. But they still even brought in like NFL players to develop it right and stuff like that. They couldn't even decide on like what console to put it on versus PC. Right, they're trying to do Nintendo or PC, that kind of stuff. And I'm loving it. It's been pretty great. So also next week we'll be talking about the Game Awards and the release of the Secret Level TV show that will be coming out, and I'm more excited for that, right? So that's going to be giving us stories based in worlds like Armored Core, Dungeons and Dragons, Pac-Man apparently, something with PlayStation, Sifu, which is crazy, and like Unreal Tournament, Warhammer, and what I'm most in. Oh man, I'm so excited for it. Concord, yo, I can't believe they're putting that out. And I want to see the story. I want to see what it's going to be like. And I wonder if this like if maybe Concord this TV show thing came out first, if they did that and then put out a trailer for the game, things would have been so much better. But oh man, it's just so sad to see a game like that flop so hard and them maybe still try to put it out and make money off. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, that's basically what I want to do. Path of Exile just came out. A new Detective Conan movie is announced for next year. That's basically it. So I will see you guys on Path of Exile 2 throughout the weekend, throughout the early access period of these 3 to 6 months, right? And then obviously it's free to play, and we'll have the full access game right then, and it's going to be a really good time. So I will see you guys in Path of Exile 2. Have a good Friday and a great weekend. See you next time.